everyone. Thank you for joining the Varley Art Gallery for our Lunch and Learn series, generously sponsored by the Varley Mackay Art Foundation and TD Bank Group. My name is Ian, he, him, the Varley's Education and Research Administration Assistant and host for today's webinar. Closed captioning is provided and for everyone. The Varley Art Gallery acknowledges the Anishinaabe, Wendat Nuencio, Haudenosaunee, and the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nations, and their commitment to the stewardship of this land. We acknowledge these communities in circle, the north, west, south, and eastern direction, and share the responsibility with the caretakers of this land to ensure the dish is never empty. To restore relationships based on peace, trust, and truth, the Varley is committed to enhance understanding, partnership, and reconciliation. Visit nativeland.ca to learn more about the land you live on, the history of the land, and what you can do to contribute to a better future. Today, we have Yan Wu, the City Public Art Curator, to introduce the curatorial vision behind the program's recent project, Façade, at the Pan Am Center, a public art program conceived in the form of a wayfinder for Main Street Unionville. The artist duo Holly Ward and Kevin Schmidt project Lost and Found, which includes their recent intervention along the Rouge Trail and their upcoming exhibition at the Varley. Yan Wu will also discuss a collaborative project with Rouge National Park centered on the concept of the calendar and its various manifestations as adopted by humans and nature. Why are these projects considered public art? Why are they situated in Markham? How can they become public art? Yan Wu is currently the public art curator for the City of Markham, where she recently oversaw the completion of the city's first 5-year public art master plan, and is now managing its implementation. Wu was the curator-in-residence at the Art Museum at the University of Toronto from 2016 to 2017, and where she recently guest-curated a series of screen-based new commissions titled Immaterial Architecture 2021, and Chinese artist Miao Ying's first solo exhibition in Canada in 2022. In 2015, she was assistant curator for the inaugural Shanghai Urban Space Art season, and in 2013, co-curated the Canada Pavilion at the 5th Bi-City Urbanism Architecture Biennale in Shenzhen, China. Wu's curatorial work operates at the intersection of contemporary art, architecture, and the making of public space. We have the question and answer at the end, so please leave your questions at the chat box. So thank you, Yan Wu, for coming and speaking at our Lunch and Learn. I'll pass the screen share to you.
Well, thanks, Ian, and thanks. Thanks for the invitation, and thanks for everyone who's here with us today. Just give me a quick second, then I share the screen. It's actually I think I recognize most of the names in the audience. It's a small group. It's quite nice and intimate. It makes me feel like it probably would be better, and we are sitting in the physical room as a discussion, as opposed to me looking at the screen and I'm talking to myself. Since it's a small group here, I feel like I can probably go off the script a little bit, as you probably know me better. It's interesting that in the introduction, Ian read about what I was originally conceived that what this talk can be, mentioned one project that it didn't happen in the end. I thought that line would be removed from the intro, but it's funny, it's still there. It makes me kind of wonder, how should I respond to that? Because for a while, I find it's a bit difficult to prepare today's presentation, because this idea of public arts and especially produce a public art project in the context of a municipality. And in the time of we're in today, it's become a very tricky as what is can be said, what cannot be said. So I think that's the part of still I'm trying to resolve in my mind as what my work is about, and how can we keep the integrity of our work as we moving forward and navigating this difficult time. I think probably today's presentation will be read quite formal, and it's more coming from a city's perspective as my own perspective. So I just want to address it at the beginning of it. But so anyways, um, it's a bit awkward starting point. And so for those you know me and for those know you don't know me, so my name is Yan Wu and I'm the Public Art Curator for the City of Markham. And so today, for today's talk, actually, I will mainly focus on two projects that we're currently working on, and both related to Rouge Trail, river trail systems, which is important ecological feature here in Markham that everyone take great pride in. And it's also, I want to mention here is these two projects, both projects are currently in progress. One is actually in production, and the other one is actually pre-production at the research phase. So I think for the second project and the one with the collaboration with Rouge National Urban Park is really I'm going to talk about the inspiration as opposed to what's happening. And for Holly and Kevin's project Lost and Found, I will just give idea of how the project was conceived and what happened so far and what was artist's proposal and why I wanted to invite these two artists to work on this project. But before jumping into this project, I just want to give you an overview of the public arts program in Markham. Because I think it's interesting to looking at what already there, what happened in the past, and then comparing to this kind of this image actually in front of you. It was taken from a walking tour, me and Nia, the director of Varley Art Gallery, in the Rouge Trail, and just trying to imagine a different way to conceive a project and also how to consider what site for public art project. So how can we work with the site, not imposing a project there, but spend time with the site, understand the site, and trying to see how project conceive and emerge itself and through the time we're spending with the site. Next first image. Can I make this image move? Okay. So the City of Markham's public art program was first initiated in 2003 and formalized in 2012. Since 2013, 7 permanent artworks has been commissioned through the program, as well as 1 permanent work donated by the community. And those works are Cloud Flower by Douglas Walker, which is a mural work at the Cornell Community Center in the library, and Gabriel Journey by Kip Jones. It's a sculptural work in front of the Markham Museum. Quarry, which is the image you can see here on the screen, by Marian Barkhouse and located right next to the Two Good Pond, which is actually right adjacent to the Rouge Trail. And also we have an interesting collection of monument of founding fathers in the city. And we have a monument to William Bursey by Marlene Hilton Mall at the Bursey Square, who's considered the founding father of Markham. And the monument to Benjamin Thorne by Les Drysdale at Thornhill Community Center in the library, who considers the founding father of Thornhill. And then we have a monument to Dr. Jose Rizal, made by a local artist, Moji Magado, funded and donated by the Filipino-Canadian community, Filipino-Canadian community in Markham, who is also considered as a founding father of modern Philippines. So that's kind of interesting is how these founding fathers then gathered together in Markham. And also we have, and also want to address this, these monuments was actually all installed after 2015, 2016. So they're not been with the city for that long time. They're all recent additions to the city's collection. And then also there are two new recently installed works, are Living Lights by Joanne Ho and Enterprise in the Birchmont, and also Top Garden by Design Collective Guild at Anin Community Center. You see on the screen is a rendering of the work. I just want to give you an overview as these are the permanent works at the city. It's not a big collection and it just started. But what would be interesting to see is how can we create a program that parallel to that? We continue commission works and how to make the idea of how to introduce contemporary art practice in parallel to permanent works. And also, in addition to the program, and in the past, the program also facilitated a series of community art initiatives and in collaboration with the city's public realm section. So you can find there are two mural works at the Henderson Bridge. One was by a local artist and with the support by a mentor artist, Catherine Harvey, and the other is actually collaboration by the teacher and the students and from Markham High School. So next one is I'm going to do a new share. And in the fall of 1920, and the Markham City Council approved its Public Art Master Plan 2020-2024 and a related implementation plan in winter 2020. So on the one hand, the master plan calibrated the objective of the program that are to inspire people to live, work, visit, and invest in Markham, to celebrate the city's diverse culture and heritage from multiple point of view, and to connect residents to Markham's built and natural environment. So on the other hand, the master plan expanded the definition of public art and created processes and procedures to support a wider variety of contemporary art practice that consider public space and the vibrancy of the society's public realm as its central core. So since the launch of the Public Art Master Plan 2020 to 2024, the Public Art Program has expanded its programming scope to explore diverse models of production and dissemination, to produce projects and commission works that are no longer limited to conventional mediums like paintings or sculpture. And this expansion include various initiatives. I just want to make sure you guys, when I shift the tabs and you guys can see the new tab.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, great, thanks. So this was probably one of the first initiatives since we launched, after we launched the master plan, and at the time COVID hit. So Delimit is an online public art competition conceived at the beginning of COVID era in summer 2020, and it invited professional artists to propose speculated projects for actual sites and in Markham. And here was one. And in the fall of 2020, we hosted a 9-week virtual summit on public art titled Becoming Public Art, Working Models and Case Studies for Art in Public. And it was supposed to be an in-person 3-day summit, but because of COVID, we have to change it to online. And this event featured lectures, panel discussions, interviews, and with over 40 esteemed international figures, including artists, architects, curators, fabricators, planners, and administrators. And all the documentation is available online as research resources open to the public. Double gazebo. I think we can see, yeah, probably do a photo here. As you can see some photo here. So double gazebo in 2021, and this initiative involved a temporary site-specific installation at the Varley courtyard by the artist duo Native Art Department International, consisting Maria Hupfield and Jason Lewin, and whose work is also in the gallery at the moment if you would like to see it. The project was complemented by a series of online activations and was co-produced and with the Museum of Contemporary Art Toronto. Yeah, if you're interested, this is the website, and all the online activations are still available. You can see them. There's talking about the dance movement and a performance by the artist with the structure itself, and sound, and also working with astronomer and talking about star knowledge. And the next one is more recent. Is in 2021, we partnered with York Region Arts Council to introduce a new community art project grant titled Art Park, and the project aimed to support local artists in creating new site-specific works for community parks in Markham. And the first iteration of the grant was awarded to local contemporary dancer Zoe Kwong, whose project was presented at Ada Mackenzie Park in Markham in June 2023. Okay. So this is a project that's also at which we're working on at the moment. So most recently this fall, we launched a new public art program and along Main Street Unionville, which includes 2 embedded public art installations to be completed in 2025 and an indigenous garden to be commenced in 2024. And this program invites artists to explore the theme of wayfinding, spatially connecting the heritage district and the commercial zone to a broader geographic context anchored in the Rouge River's presence. He also extends a narrative of the historic neighborhood within a deeper historical backdrop, exploring the ways to bring the past, present, and the future of Unionville together with contemporary awareness and social reflections. Okay, and I am going to change back to here. Okay. What can I go to? Yes, okay. So the last project brings us to the first project I'm going to focus on today. So in addition to the permanent works and we introduced as part of the Main Street Unionville Public Art Program, we commissioned artist duo Hollywood and Kevin Schmidt to create a temporary durational project exploring the Rouge Trail system as a public space around Unionville. Collaborating with local musicians and community groups, this project, titled Lost and Found, will culminate in an exhibition at the Varley Art Gallery and opening on January 27th, 2024. Holly's work explores the role of aesthetics in the formation of social reality, while Kevin Schmidt's practice delves into the artist's role in the spectacle-driven society, exploring faith, myth-making, craft, and popular culture. So before diving into the details of this project, I'd like to showcase a couple of Holly and Kevin's previous projects that influenced my decision to invite them to create work for Unionville, and which really shaped this project. First is the pavilion, the one you can see here on the screen. Started in 2009 as a year-long project by Holly as part of the Lagara College 2009 to 2010 Artist in Residence. During this time, Holly constructed a 22 feet diameter geodesic dome intended to serve as a catalyst for speculative thinking and artistic experimentation. Once the construction of the pavilion was completed, Holly curated a series of exhibitions, readings, and performances in order to generate contemporary engagement with utopia thinking, experimentation, and dialogue. The pavilion has since moved to a rural Halfley Creek, BC, where it is currently under construction as a long-term interdisciplinary life as art project being performed in collaboration with Kevin. Holly and Kevin keep a blog of their activity of the dome, and I want to show you. Here. Okay. Yeah. I think I want to see if it was screwed to the bottom, you can see where the dome is look like. Yeah, this is when they were moving. That was their celebrate their 10th anniversary of the pavilion, the dome project. And also in recent years, they have been, this is another photo of that. Let me see if I click on it. Yeah, so you can have a better view. That's what it looks like in situ. Oops. And also, I think they have been working with local material and local communities to add more elements around the structure. For example, yeah, this is the outdoor open air cinema they're building with local lumbers. And I think there was a really beautiful photo here. This is a beautiful photo to show, and this cinema almost like amphitheater. And they also built a screen for outdoor projections. So this is our ongoing project, and Holly and Kevin lives in Toronto now, but they go back there every summer to continually working on it. So initially, I was inspired by the momentum of their pavilion project and the process of localizing the structure along with the social relations they established, not only with the people, but with nature as well. So my initial invitation was to ask them to bring their pavilion's utopia construct to the site of Rouge River Trail for a residency, rather than bring the dome here for a visit. Our conversation started with walking tours along the trail for inspiration and prompts. And for those who live around Unionville and have taken walking tours along the trail, and you understand the intimate setting of the space, it's public, but it's also private. So one day while walking there, Kevin and Holly heard the sound of a musician playing, unsure whether it's from someone's backyard, because I think if you know what's the setting of the trail, and a lot of the nearby backyards is actually back onto the trail. Um, so they were intrigued and by the sound and music they heard and decided to take that as a prompt for their project. Now I want to introduce another previous project by Kevin, actually conceived for the City of Toronto's Nuit Blanche in 2011. So in a way, this project is also a precursor to our current project. Okay. So in this project, you can see from the photos is the street musicians were hired to play a set of 9 songs in shifts for the duration of the event, from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. the next day, placing themselves along 20 blocks of Yonge Street, close to vehicle traffic, which was closed to vehicle traffic for the night. And the musicians performed as they normally would, busking for money with a case or hat in front of them. And the 9 songs are Will You Love Me Tomorrow by Cheryl, Don't Forget Tonight, Tomorrow by Frank Sinatra, Tomorrow is Today by Billy Joel, Tomorrow's Gonna Be Another Day by the Monkees, Summer Morning Coming Down by Johnny Cash, Don't Stop Believing by Journey, Tomorrow Never Comes by Elvis Presley, Sunday Morning by Velvet Underground, and One Night Love Affair by Bryan Adams. The musicians were free to rearrange the songs to suit their own style and could play them in whatever order they wished. The performance of these musicians were unannounced, loosely embedded in the crowd of Nuit Blanche, encountered by the audience by chance. So here are some photo documentations. Okay, and next. Museum. There. Okay. So after a few months of on-site research and discussion, here comes the proposal by Holly and Kevin. Hollywood and Kevin Schmidt's collaborative project Lost and Found for the City of Markham's Public Art program will consist a series of constructed situations which will take place along the Rouge River Trail in Markham over the spring and the summer of 2023. So I'm reading their proposal, that's why I was in future tense, and will culminate in the exhibition at the Varley Art Gallery in January 2024. These situations will develop a choreography of the everyday in order to locate the public sphere in moments of encounter between individuals in specific, unassuming moments and in instances of attention and attunement. Lost and Found will orchestrate a series of instances, events, and happenings which do not present themselves as performances or artworks. Rather, these actions will take place on the periphery of attention, the observation of which may be through direct or indirect perception. In these incidences, a viewer may recognize that they are witnessing an intentional action or event, or they may simply pass by without giving much consideration. Over time, as these actions and events occur repeatedly at the site of the Rouge River Trail, the accumulation of these incidences may start to cohere as having intention. What was once thought to be a random, organic situation takes shape as a series of events which may have some form of value. These choreographed happenings exist on the fringe of awareness, like coincidences, chance encounters, or happenstances, the accumulation of which come to resonate as intentional, aesthetic events whose purpose is never fully revealed. So what happens is local amateur musicians and the composition students were invited to practice at locations along the Rouge River Trail. And these activities were not presented as formal performance, but exist in the space between a public and a private act. And the instrument used are both somewhat familiar. Also, at the same time, Kevin and Holly construct a set of musical carts featuring improvised instruments, bells made of pipes, ton drums from propane tanks, and provisional string instruments. And the one you see in the photo here are the two music carts, and they built for the project. And also the locations of practices were slightly hidden, so passerby hear the sound but cannot easily see or access the musician. The sounds are present in the space but are not framed as significant, as the musician repeats an imperfect phrase or chord in order to hone their technique. The music is presented as random fragments which are accidentally overheard. Let's see the photo here. Yeah, so this is Kevin playing his music cart. So another scenario involved a number of participants repeatedly walking the Rouge Trail, a river trail, wearing T-shirts bearing a variety of slogans and designs conceived by the artist. Additional scenarios involved local community groups such as what you see here in the photo, senior Taiji societies, all runners group, all Boy Scouts, and this group were invited to perform their regular activities wearing the T-shirt along the trail. Chosen to imitate how bodies adorned with text act as a form of public discourse, these T-shirts activate their wearers as public announcements, while also claiming to vocalize some internal dialogue or subjective identity. For example, familiar phrases or slogans like notification off, good vibes only, or I'm having an experience claim to vocalize the interiority of the wearer or express their individuality while using the wearer's body as a form of direct address to their audience. The observer of these slogans form an immediate reaction to this message, yet lacks the forum to respond, which raises the question of the value of this exchange. So I'm going to show you some photo documentations and the video documentations here. I saw there are questions posting it, and I guess I can just add it here. How the public react when you encounter the music carts? I actually went on one trip with one musician who was playing the carts in the trail, and because I think let's see if we can go back to the last photo. Was it this one? Sorry, I'm just struggling with different windows. I think there's the other one. As you can see, there's the other one. The cart, it has bottles in it with the water filled with water, so you can blow on it as the instrument. And so when the musician was pushing the cart and along the trail, I think there was random public. It was a mom and with her kid, and they both thought it was a mobile bar. Someone was selling drinks along the trail. I think it just because it's so unfamiliar, I think people just will establish their own understanding and imagination of what's going on. But the what they share is the curiosity and excitement when they see it. Actually, I want to show you guys more documentation of what happened. So this is the Taiji group playing. Taiji group playing. Uh, uh, and I am going to new share. I want to see here's actually a video clip. It's really cute. After all the musician practice on the trail concluded, and in the late fall, we had events and bring all these musicians together as appreciation events and ask them to share their stories and which Kevin recorded them and the material will be used and will appear in the exhibition in the end in some form that I shouldn't talk about now because I think Holly and Kevin wanted to be a surprise, but this actually it's a father and son duo here, and they have been practiced on the trail with us in the project, and they share some really beautiful stories. And I want to show you a clip of what they playing together. Can you guys hear the sound?
No sound.
No sound.
No sound.
That is no sound. So you only can see the video, you cannot hear the sound.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I think that's gonna be a technical difficult. I won't be able to resolve the right on the spot. Too bad, but just look at the movement then.
I think we could hear it. It's just too quiet. I can hear hints of it.
Oh, okay. You can hear bits of it. And then I guess just you get a sense of it then. Because these cards will be available in the exhibition when the show opens, and everybody will have the opportunity actually to play the card themselves. Mm, um, and following and I think actually I want to show you a bit more photo because there's some really beautiful documentation here that I want to show it really quickly because it's there are image of the kids. I don't really know how much copyright we have for this image, but they are so adorable that I want to share so you see how the kids are wearing these t-shirts and on the trail. Just a quick glance to give you the sense of how these t-shirts appeared in different ways. And I think there are also other musicians. You can see what it looks like when they just playing on the trails. And they like, this is one. You can see it's a different age group. And I think one thing I want to address, actually mention, it's important, is all the musicians are paid to play and on the trail. So it's not a free labor, and they all receive a fee for their contribution to the project. And also, I think that's how Kevin actually created a really sophisticated spreadsheet to track everybody's payments and hours, and it was really well planned. And also, in addition to, and for the groups and the community groups that participate in the project, all of them, um, it's also another exchange happens is they were asked to choose a charity organization they would like to donate money to. So then once they wear the t-shirt and whether walking with the t-shirt or other or playing or practice tai chis and with the t-shirt on the trail, Kevin and Holly will donate money and on their behalf and to a charitable organizations. So for everything, all these contributions, none of them are happened as a free labor. Yeah, sure. Let's land it on this one. And so following this series of happening along the Rouge River Trail, and this event will then undergo an aesthetic transformation. For the exhibition that is going to happen in January, the artist will formalize a visual language to frame this experience at artworks in the gallery through the presentation of objects and ephemeras in an interactive installation. The audience who may have experienced the same events in real time without having designated value to them experiences a kind of after image. They have experienced the message that these events had intention or value as cultural artifacts and are thus offered an opportunity to renegotiate the meaning or personal valuations of these moments. And through this, the artists ask audiences to consider how perception shapes awareness and to consider how attention economies shape our personal and collective values. Lost or discarded moments are found, recategorized, and renegotiated. So wandering, practicing, improvising, and experimenting are revealed to be not only preparatory activities to a main event, but as having substance in and of themselves. The Lost and Found locates this activity in public space in order to designate the chance encounter as a potential site for the formation of publics. I think it's funny. I haven't spoke to Zoom for a while, and I kind of still feels so strange that people are in the room, but I don't see them, and I'm talking to myself. I'm trying to figure out what would be the best way to go about now. Is the next project I'm going to talk about is still at the negotiation stage. In the way, it's interesting that we have been working on it for over a year with National Rouge Urban Park. If you are familiar with it, it's a park that actually has part of it in City of Toronto in Scarborough, and part of it in Markham, and part of it in Pickering. And the part in Markham is it's actually the part of the land is used to be agricultural land, and now but then it was for other use, and now as part of the national park, it will be reactivate as agricultural land, and also to preserve and the habitations and species and in that area. So for that project is I want to show you one, two, three inspiration projects that really um help and me to think about it. It's interesting, and again in the description Ian shared with us today, it was almost a dated description of the project, because I think I was asked to submit the description in the spring or earlier in the summer, maybe when the project was going in a slightly different direction. So at the time, and I was working with two artists, Gareth Long and who is based in Toronto, and also a Chinese artist, Hu Ying, who's based in Serbia and Belgrade. So we were having almost bi-weekly conversation and trying to imagine what we can do with the site. We don't even know what we were allowed to do on the site. So when the project first started, it was taking at the different threads. On one hand, and I'm me working with Catherine Ding, who used to be the public arts officer at the City of Toronto. So we worked together as a team to imagine what we can do and what we can propose to a national park that basically wouldn't allow anything to really be touch on the ground. But on the other hand, we were trying to think is we would like to access the site, but it is a national, it's a federal land. How can who we should talk to? Just really as simple as this question. And how can we get into their system and be able to propose a project? The whole process took almost a year. Finally, we get to the point now to be able to propose something and working on the final agreement for a multi-year collaboration. At the time, it's interesting, and calendar was a theme at the time, and to really think, because the reason we're thinking about calendar is we're thinking about calendar as a way for human to control nature, but at the same time it is a way that nature keep a record of itself. So depending on through which lens, then also there's indigenous calendar, but also there's Western calendar, and one is represents the relationship between human and nature. The other is actually representation of scientific achievement. So it's kind of interesting, like all these elements together. That's what we were trying to figure out. Is there a way that we can work with it? But at the same time, I think as the research goes, and all of us were a little bit overwhelmed by how enormous and this concept can be, and what kind of a task we propose to ourselves. I think it's 1:16. Probably I will just give you a quick overview of three projects. Just these projects probably going to shape what in the end is going to happen, what we're going to do in the park. Sharing. So first project we hear is it's a Liam Gillick's project at the Fogo Islands. It's interesting is I don't know how many of you are familiar with this project. It is a work commissioned by National Gallery of Canada. It was through a funding stream and all a collecting initiative to collect work for the National Art Gallery's collection, but the work is to take place elsewhere. So what happened is the artist Liam Gillick, and he conceived this structure, and I would say it's parked. I would like to use the word that parked on Fogo Island, but use the place either both conceptually and physically, and for different research groups and to do research, to do weather-related research and on Fogo Island. And I think also, so it has so what we're interested at the time, also to look at this model is it possible that we can conceive projects that can relate it to all the existing research that are happening at the Rouge National Park, because we know there's a lot of researchers and working with the local species and habitations and to do long-term more observational research project. So we're wondering is actually, can we pair that with artist residency to see what can come out of that? So there's one stream we're looking at. And the second project I want to use an example, it's part of the larger and downriver Varley public art program. I will highly recommend it to everyone here to look into it. It was a beautiful project they did at the time. It's really to think about how contemporary art can happen in these type of settings. So what happens is the artist Gareth Long, and he worked with two donkeys and from the donkey sanctuary of Canada. And but at the same time, he worked with architects, Christian Gallegos, and they built these structures on site. So I'm not sure. I think in the end, I'm not 100% sure, but I think the regulations on site didn't allow the donkey really live on site. I think they have to transport the donkeys in the end for every Sunday walk. And so for every Sunday, and they will organize walking tours. Oh, too bad it's not showing here. Gareth will lend walking tours along the trail and with the donkeys and with the participants and with conversations that either related or not related to the project every Sunday for a period of time. And one last project, and we are looking at is actually this one, Seeing the Invisible. It was a collaboration between MoCA in Toronto and the Toronto parks, and I think then they choose the multiple parks that to create site-specific AR works, augmented reality works, and to take place on specific sites in those parks. And you have to actually go to the park in order to activate these ARPs. It's kind of resolved the problem with how to install large-scale, interesting artworks on site. So, and right now, in short, what we're working with the National Rouge Park and hope we can reach the agreement in the next couple of months is to conceive a 3-year research-based durational projects and consist of 6 artist residencies, and each residency will last about 6 months long, and we will pair and the artist with one local species. And so at the end of each project residency, and we hope we can realize a structure, some sort of a structure on site that will tie into for example, right now the park is looking to restore all the structures for chimney. Oh, I forgot the name. So for a local bird, what's the name of the bird? For a local bird, so artists can build a structure for the home for the bird to live in. But at the same time, a AR work will be created that will embody the research that take place and to conceive that structure. So that's what we envisioned. By the end of each residency, a work will be created, an ARPs will be created. So by the end of the 3-year contract, we will have exhibition of AR works, but also all those little habitats and created on site and for the local species to live in. I think I will wrap it here. I hope the last description is not too abstract, but really we're really at the conceptual stage. I hope I can have more visual to share, but thank you.
Thank you, Yan, for the amazing presentation. And thank you for everyone coming. Just one more thing. At Varley, uh, we have an artist workshop with Chantel Miller in December 16th, 2023, and also a winter exhibition opening reception in January 27th, 2024. I hope I see everyone there. And I hope everyone have a great day today. Once again, thank you, Yan Wu, for showing and helping us understand better at public art.